And welcome back to part 7 of this Blender tutorial on how to build R2D2. So now, as you can see, we've had a good portion of the details on the legs built up. So now, to be able to get that to be completed, at least, one of the things that I saw immediately is that we have a shading issue. So if we look up here, we have these sections right here, the mesh that's faceted. So we're going to go ahead and clear that and make it smooth. So we're going to go to edit mode. And with those selected, you're going to go right click and hit shade smooth, and boom, that's done. So then you get out of object mode, and then not too bad. So what are you going to be doing next? Next part is we're going to create some of the other outward elements on the legs that are located below. More importantly, this little section right here at the bottom of the legs. But to do that, let's go ahead and hide the rest of the leg that we're not going to build. So select all that, hit H. Going to go into the front perspective, and then run to the front. We're going to zoom into this element right here, which we're going to be building, and that's going to be something we're going to construct out of a cylinder. So first, you can go ahead and do Shift A, create a mesh, cylinder. As you can see, I have my cylinder already. I'm going to take the rotation, take it to 90, and before, when we were creating this little cylinder right here, I only created it with 10 vertices. But in this occasion, I'm going to be creating it with 12 because when it comes to cylinders in 3D Studio Max, the general rule of thumb is the bigger the cylinder is, the more sides you're going to need on the cylinder, or vertices as it's written there, to give it sides to show up on screen. So for example, if you have a cylinder that's 2 meters tall and 1 meter wide, you're probably going to need like 20 sides to the cylinder, as opposed to something that is a couple of centimeters in length. Then you're probably going to need 8 and such. So it depends. So basically, the bigger the cylinder that you have in your 3D program, the more sides you're going to need to it. So now that I have it sort of created in a basic form, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and take it here, move it to the side. I'm going to go ahead and do Alt Z to turn on, or Alt Z to turn on X-ray mode. And I'm going to more or less line this up with the center, with this little line right here. And then I'm going to scale it using the white ring uniform scale, where it kind of lines up to that. We'll make some tweaks and adjustments when we're done with the shape afterwards. And then after this, I need to split the cylinder in half because I'm going to tweak it and extrude it so I get that shape that you see on screen. But before we do that, let's go ahead and adjust the widthness of the side, or the width of the side on this. So we're going to go to edit mode, and then in edit, you go to vertice mode by pressing 1, select this front row here, line it up here, and select this one here, and line it up there. Cool. Now that that's done, I'm ready to split this. So I'm going to go into perspective mode, Alt Z to turn off X-ray mode, and in vertice mode, I'm going to go ahead and connect these, select these two and connect them. So select them, hit J to split it, go to the other side, these two, hit J to split it. Yeah. And now that that's been split, I'm going to go ahead and do the extrusion. So how did I do the extrusion? I'm going to press 3 to go to face mode. Select these right here, all the bottom ones. Cool. Go into front mode, and then go down here to extrude region. Select this little handle right here. Bring it all the way down where it kind of matches. Yes, that sounds good. And then I'm going to non-uniform scale it in object mode. So that's the sort of the right width. That's good. Then Alt Z, and as you can see, the top one right here is a little bit thicker than, or a little bit wider than it should be on top. So how do I fix that? Edit mode, press 1 to go into vertices, select all of these right here. Non-uniform scale on the blue axis. Adjust, scroll it down here, and down here. That's a little bit more accurate. So as you can see, now that we have that created, that section right here, that wasn't too hard to make, but again, Alt Z to exit X-ray mode. And now again, we have the same shading issue on this, so we need to fix the shading so it's not faceted like this. So how do we do that? In face mode, just select that row here, Shift, select more, Shift, select more, boom, boom, all good. Right click and shade smooth. So now you have that section created. So now we're going to go ahead and do Alt H outside in object mode and do Alt H to unhide anything. As everything, as you can see, you already have quite a good bit of R2D2 that's been built. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go ahead and attach this little element right here to the foot element, which I believe that's how it makes sense how it's attached. So if I select the foot, Control select the other one, and then hit Control J, and when I select, no, it didn't work, weird. Try that again, Control this, and then select this, and then I hit Control and J. And as you can see now, it is merged together. So I'm going to go ahead and save my work. And then the next section we're going to create is going to be a little bit more tricky. So I'm going to take it slow. Could be that I don't get it on the first try, but it's going to be, and I'll show you what we're creating. Alt Z. It's this blue section on R2D2 that pops out. So we have to find a way to do that correctly. So how are we going to do that? And to do that, we're going to go ahead and extrude the mesh, and there's going to be some cutting and merging, but hopefully this will come out good and the result will be nice. So I'm going to select my leg. I'm going to exit 3D or X-ray mode, select these, which I don't need these right now, and I'm going to hit H, Control save, just make sure to always do it. And then the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to cut that into the mesh, this section. So how do we cut that? Where does it go? So first and foremost, let's go to front view, X-ray mode, and we're going to have to, the first cut we're going to have to make here is to have the end of this come out and such. So this is going to, yeah, this seems like it's a bit of a tricky piece, but I figure that we can both do it well if we do it together. So let's go ahead and figure that out. So first and foremost, front view, edit mode, and as you can see, we already have a cut that's there. Maybe it could have been, sometimes I have to stop these videos and start again because I screw up and such. So if you don't have a cut there, all you do is very simple. If you don't have that cut, all you do is you go to press 2, you go to edge mode, you select all of these like this, and then you come right here, loop cut, click and place it, and then I'll give you that cut. So if you have any problems with that, just let me know. So after I do that, I want to go ahead and extrude that section. So I'm going to go to select mode, polygon mode, and get out of X-ray. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass with X-ray. Click, click, click. That's where it ends, right? I think so. Yes. And I'm going to extrude this section right here, which I did, yes. And though when I extruded that, it's going to create something that we're going to have to fix towards the end, because this right here has to be attached. And for some reason my extrusion didn't come out too good. Let's try that again. So now that it's extruded, boom, it's good. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to delete all the faces we are going to stitch together later on. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one right here, hit X, faces only, and then if I go to X-ray mode, this one where I just extruded, X, faces only, get rid of that, and then save. So then we're going to go into the side view as I did. I'm going to go in vertices. No, you know what? I made a mistake. So I'm going to go ahead and undo all this, undo that extrude, undo that delete. So scratch that. Sorry about that. Control Z. So when you get to this mode here, and then what I'm going to do is instead of that, I'm going to do a bevel in the inside, and so it's coming out like this, because as you can see, there's still some element on the leg of R2D2 that's still gray. So I kind of do that bevel like this. And then after I do that bevel, I'm going to go ahead and go in vertice mode. So press 1 and take this row right here, shift and shift. And then I'm going to non-uniform scale them so they kind of align with that. And as you can see, now I have that basic shape. And then now we're going to go into the deleting part. So First and foremost, let me make sure it all lines up. So this one needs to be brought up a tiny bit. Right here, and as you can see, it's not perfect science. I'm going to rotate into perspective, turn off X-ray mode, and I'm going to go to polygons, and I'm going to delete this one, X, phases only, and this one, X, phases only. So as you can see what I have now. And then I'm going to go into side view. I'm going to go into vertices, take this, control, control, and then I'm going to lower so it kind of lines up with this right here. Boom. And as you can see now I have this section right here, kind of that cut bit into it, and I'm going to select these polygons right there. Yeah. I'm going to go in side view, and then with the extrude, this one right here, extrude region, I'm just going to pull it out this way. So I kind of get that shape. Good. And towards the top, I'm going to take these two sections, raise it out here so you have that shape. And if you want, you can get this one right here and move it a little bit closer and such. So as you can see, now I have that section of R2D2 that's been extruded, but sometimes with the extruding it's a little wonky, so I have to undo because that's freaking annoying, or at least the adjustments, and that's because I didn't have X-ray turned on, so I'm going to turn on the X-ray again. Select these two, move them forward, and I believe we're going to need another cut, so we're going to go ahead and do that cut. And where is that cut? What's a good place to make that cut? You know what? I could just take these right here, this row, non-uniform scale, scale it on the blue one so they sort of line up. This, yeah. And then I'm going to go to edge, select all these edges right here, all of them, yeah, cool. And then you're going to go to loop cut here, and then right after I do my loop cut, then I can take my loop cut and raise it here, and then I'm going to take this and move it a little bit closer to how it's shown on the actual picture itself. And the same for this one because it's not as big of an extrusion as it was before, so I'm going to take this and lower it so it kind of lines up like this. So now you have that little section of R2D2 created. I'm going to go to object mode, make sure it looks okay. Turn off X-ray. So now I have that little section, and this is not perfect science, of course, so I want to make this a little bit thicker than it is, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to edit mode, faces, this, and these, and just pull it out ever so slightly. Cool. So with that section right there created, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, and I will see you in part number 8.